getting off the late start, so we're going to push right in. I would just like to welcome everybody here. We have a very exciting meeting coming up with the three members from Georgetown East, Georgetown South, and Georgetown West. The Honorable Roy McTaggart, Macfield. The Honorable Roy McTaggart. We got Festa, which is Frederick. We got Pearlina, Frederick, Festa, and then we got Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden from Georgetown West. So I would please like to ask Isadora Ferro to come up and do the national song for us.
Good evening, everyone. I wonder if you'd be kind enough to stand up in reverence for our national song. Oh, land of soft, fresh breezes, of verdant trees so fair, with thy Creator's glory reflected everywhere. O sea of palest emerald, merging to darkest blue, whene'er my thoughts fly Godward, I always think of you. Dear verdant island set in blue Caribbean sea, I'm coming very soon. Oh, beauteous isle, to thee. Although I've wandered far, my heart enshrines thee yet. Homeland fair Cayman Isle, I cannot thee forget.
Thank you, Isadora. Now I would like to call on Mr. Gilroy McDowell to lead us in prayers.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
You could just come over straight to the mic.
It's such a warm welcome as you look over the queue and say everybody. But Jesus is on the main line like right now. So whatsoever we ask of him tonight, we know he will grant it unto us. And as we gather this evening in this function and this form of worship, I pray thee that God will cover us. He said, where one or two or three is gathered to touching anything concerning him, he is in the midst to cover us. He's in the midst to lead and direct us. And as we come this evening, Lord God, we pray that they will lead and direct us, oh God, from the back to the front, from the front down to the back. You will raise your hand and say, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Come on, son. Praise the Lord. Praise him, somebody. Hallelujah. 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 Glory, hallelujah. I know you're going to give us a safe covering tonight. I pray for us all, but we say thanks in Jesus' name.
Thank you, Mr. McDowell. Well, I think we're going to get started, but I just have a few words to say. The last 3 years, well, not the last year, but the 3 years that was leading up to this elections, Cayman, I believe, has been dying. We've been going down, and it's like a cricket team. If you have a captain and the team is unhappy with the captain, it's not happy. We're always breaking up and we're having arguments. We decide we're going to get rid of that captain. We get rid of him. We bring in a new captain. And then we decide, well, some of us, not all of us, decide that they're going to go join this captain. I don't know how, in a space of no time, that anybody can expect this captain of the cricket team to perform different than he has done for 3 years. He has let us down that we came in. For 8 years, we were up and going good under the leadership of Sir Alden. And now we had a man come and take over, and it's like the cricket team. We want to get rid of him because he's destroying what we've put together for 8 years. Well, how can we go and decide to bring him back to run our cricket team? And that's the same thing with the Cayman government. We can't have this man come back, and that's just one of the teams. We can't have him come back and try to run our cricket team where he has destroyed it before. So we have to make sure that he isn't elected to run our cricket team ever again. And I like to compare things to cricket. But what I'm saying now is Cayman has been going down for the last 3 years. The last year we tried to stable it off. But Georgetown, the candidates from Georgetown West, Georgetown East, and Georgetown South, we have a solution. Anybody who's dying, normally you give them CPR. Well, we're going to provide Cayman with, we're going to help those members from Georgetown is going to help Cayman with CPR. And our CPR is Craig, Pearlina, and Roy. Well, Pearlina, you're up first, but I'm going to say a few words. Years, well, I don't want to make it sound like say what? Not on here. Craig, come here. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Well, I could tell you now I'm very honored that now that I have to introduce our leader. I want to invite our leader, the Honorable Joey Hugh, to come and say a few words on behalf of our 3 Georgetown candidates.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM. surviving, the hike in the prices, when we should be thriving, cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quitters, experience delivers, something needs to happen. When it's something tried and true, to create a better future, we need you with you. We're moving forward, we're moving forward, we're moving forward, see the light again. We're moving forward, we're moving forward, we're moving forward, forward with PPM.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. David, you're right, I'm not on the program. You did a good job anyhow, David. You filled in well. Oh, so nice to be here on Walker's Road this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for coming out, all of you here with us, all of those I see in the cars, out around the back and on the side. Welcome and thank you all for being with us this evening. I'm not going to take too much of your time. We had a little bit of a late start. But I think it's important that we talk a little bit about this election and what it means for the country. We know, and I don't think it's any secret, everywhere you go, every corner, every shop, everywhere you go, people are talking about the experiment over the last 4 years. And nobody knows it better than we who sat in the opposition watching. We who sat there feeling helpless. We who sat there saying, wow, never did we think in the 8 years that we were in power, with all of the things we were doing, the successes that we had, turning the economy around, taking Cayman back from the UK as far as our budget was concerned, regaining control of our budget. Over 120 days in cash reserves while capital projects were still going on. And then having the cash reserves and having the ability to follow the science in protecting our people from COVID-19. Having that cash surplus and having the expertise around the table to make the tough decisions other countries couldn't make. We were one of the first countries to close our borders, one of the very first in the world. Our main priority was the lives of our people, and we had the infrastructure and the cash reserves to be able to make those decisions. And then we had an election, and we always say that elections are important. And people said, it's been 8 years, we need a change. It's been 8 years, we need a change. And I remember clearly campaigning, going, well, what change are you looking for? I don't know, we just need a change. We just need a little change. And I could never get anyone to say to me, what is the change you are looking for? There are issues that are always going to be at the forefront of politics. Education is always, do you tell me anywhere in the world really that everybody is happy with education? Tell me where in the world that everyone is happy with immigration. But what I knew over those 8 years, that our people were comfortable, our people were safe. The Cayman Islands was booming. Tourism, high. We broke records year after year on stay-over tourism. That's what I knew. That's what I saw. And the reality of losing the government sat with me for a few days. Then I said, well, maybe because it's been 8 years, I've lost touch. Maybe I don't know. Let's give them a chance. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, it was painful to sit there in the opposition and watch on the 12 or 14 days of the year that we did get to go to Parliament, to watch what was happening to our government and our country. And so when we talk about campaigns being important or elections being important, this election, ladies and gentlemen, is a turning point for our country. This is a turning point for our country. Everyone out there running, all 59 candidates, 3 parties, are saying, we have the solution. They're saying so, but none of them have the proof of it. None of them have the track record of it. There's only one party that has a track record, and one party that has a plan, and one party that can hit the ground running once elected, and that is the PPM. So that's my little bit for the night. Well, maybe not. But my main purpose here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is to introduce 3 of those candidates who will make up a part of the next government. 3 of the candidates who will play an integral role in setting this good ship Cayman back on the right path. First is Miss Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. She has, yes, absolutely. She has huge shoes to fill. Thank you for the horns. She has huge shoes to fill in that of David White. But not because of the size of his foot, it's because when you get David, you get 2, you get Christopher too. But I have something to tell you all in Georgetown West. Now you're not just getting the 2 of them, you're getting Pearlina too, so you're getting 3 for the price of 1. Pearlina has a double master's in law and sports management. She's a successful businesswoman in her own right. And I know, many of us know, of her advocacy for mental health, especially how it impacts its impact on women, and her work and her organization have helped hundreds of women through the difficulties of mental health. A little bit on the personal side, I've known Pearlina forever, but I got to know her much better when she ran against me in 2017. And we passed each other on the road every day, and we hugged. We laughed, and I can say that it was truly a memorable campaign against Pearlina. There were others that I did not have such a good relationship with, but Pearlina and I certainly respected each other, and we debated the issues, and we kept it there. When I spoke to David, or when David spoke to me and said that he felt it was time that he passed the mantle, he called me one day and he said, Joey, what about Pearlina? I said, well, David, Pearlina ran against you in 2021. He said, yeah. And he said, but me and her talked every day. She'd be a good candidate. I said, well, David, I'm glad to hear that, because when she ran against me, I felt the very same way. And what that said to me was that Pearlina has never taken it personal. And while she has ran against us on the opposite side, the fact that when I spoke to Pearlina and said, Pearlina, David is retiring, are you interested? She didn't say yes right away. She had questions. She sent me to speak to her husband. But what I found out, what I realized from that, is that she didn't take it personal, and that Pearlina is in this for our motto, for love of country. Now I move on to the the younger person in the group, Frederick. So, yes, please. So I coached Craig football at Cayman Prep. I'm not that much older than him. It was just a perfect age gap, and I wanted to give back to my school, so I coached football there. And then played against him when he went on to play for CNB Football Club. Wrong choice, but he went to play for CNB. Scored against him too. He was a goalkeeper. I think you actually dislocated your shoulder when I scored the goal. That's correct. It wasn't intentional, Craig. But Craig is a son of the soil with roots here in Windsor Park and in East End. And I'm sure he has all in between too. Craig has a degree in marketing. And when he returned home to work with DOT, he fell in love with tourism, which led him to creating what we know as Swank International and KMAS. Now, when I was elected in 2013, I was what we then call the Councillor for Tourism. It's now called a Parliamentary Secretary under the Honourable Mose Colonel. And I remember having Craig saying, "Yo, coach, I need to come and talk to you." And he came in, and his passion, he was a part of Badabanu then. Swanky was a part of Badabanu. And his vision and his passion for what he considered carnival tourism was just pouring out of him. And not many people took him serious. Even those in the carnival circles didn't take Craig serious. But he had a vision. Craig would get up and go to New York and go on radio stations, Miami on radio stations, Atlanta on radio stations. I think he even went to Australia one time, spreading the message about another tourism product in the Cayman Islands, carnival tourism. And ladies and gentlemen, look at what it is today. Whether you like the carnival, whether you hate that the traffic is blocked or whatever, it's a reality. It's part of Caribbean culture. And KMAS today is an annual event that's looked forward to on the calendar of the Cayman Islands. And thousands, I know this personally, because I have assisted him with Cayman Airways, with packages and stuff. Thousands and thousands of tourists have visited the Cayman Islands to participate in KMAS and Cayman carnivals. I know I came today, I drove by and I saw that his opponent made sure to put up a big sign across the street today. And everybody likes him. He's a funny guy. But this is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. Politics is no joke. When it comes to your lives, when it comes to taking care of you, when it comes to making decisions for the future of your children and your grandchildren, it is not a joke. This is serious business. And Craig will be an integral part of our team. His connection with the people of Windsor Park and the broader Georgetown South, and his connection in particular with the young people, which we cannot ignore. We cannot ignore them. We can, just like we do with our kids, we don't understand it. We can question them. But the fact remains is that we cannot ignore them. And this is an important part of the team that I have built, is ensuring that we have the diversity within the team to represent all sectors of these three beautiful Cayman Islands, and Craig plays a huge role in that. Further to that, I feel sorry for him, because if he don't put in the work, Barbara can be on him like a tick. I would not want to be taking over the reins from Barbara. Barbara Conley was the hardest working member of parliament that I know. I would complain to my wife all the time. I would say, I can take a day off. Then I would go on social media and, geez, Barbara's out. What is wrong with this woman? And when Barbara said that she chose Craig, I knew that she didn't take that decision lightly. It's like handing over your child at the first day of preschool. You studied that preschool. You probably stalked it. You probably went outside and watched for a couple of weeks. So when she brought Craig to me and said she's ready to hand over the reins to Craig, I know that she feels within her heart that her people of Georgetown South will be taken care of. And she'll be watching, by the way. Then, former leader Roy McTaggart, what can I say? about Roy, M as we call him. Absolutely. I want to publicly thank you, Roy, for the time that you led us. Very difficult time sitting in the opposition. Again, like I said, feeling helpless as to what can we do. And Roy led us with integrity, and he led us with strength, and he kept us together during that very difficult time. Something that I think should be admired by everyone was the unity that the opposition showed, the Progressives opposition showed over the last 4 years. We stuck together to fight for you, the people, when we got an opportunity, because we weren't in Parliament very often. But I want to thank Roy for also having the trust in passing the mantle on to myself, and most importantly, to thank him for sticking around for another term to ensure that there's a smooth transition and to ensure that he's there to help me right the good ship Cayman. As we know, Roy McTaggart is a man of the soil and has deep roots in Georgetown East. His roots are as deep as a good piece of white cassava and red mold. You dig all day to get that out. But he is going to play an integral part in the next government with the PPM. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to get our finances back in control. We have to make really tough decisions. And we need a person with the experience and the knowledge like Roy McTaggart to help us make those decisions and to guide us through those difficult waters. Now, I know that one of our opposing parties will say, well, we have a former head of a big accounting firm. Well, guess what? We have Roy McTaggart too, a former head of maybe a bigger accounting firm. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, he has 12 years political experience being elected for the people of Georgetown East. That is what you call proven stable leadership. Speaking of the opposition, the TCCP, I saw a video where the leader was blaming everything on the PPM. Everything is wrong with this country was done by the PPM. And I felt a bit confused by that, ladies and gentlemen, because he's been in power for the last 3.5 years. In fact, he was a deputy premier for 1 year. And then when it was convenient, he picked up his friends and he quit the government and walked out. But yet, everything that has happened is the PPM's fault. I don't understand that logic. He had many opportunities to change things. We had many discussions about revamping the government. But at that time, he didn't want to work with this one. He didn't want to work with that one. But when the time came, when he was a part, when he abstained on the vote of no confidence against his premier, his current running mate, he took the opportunity to abstain and put pressure on his current running mate to resign as premier so that he could take the opportunity, along with those that he didn't want to work with, to be deputy premier. And then, when it was convenient, or when things got hard, or when he realized that that was as far as he was going to get, I don't know. He packed up his things and he walked out of the door. That is not the type of leadership we need, ladies and gentlemen. When things get tough, you don't run. You face them head on and deal with it. The 5 of them, had half of the government. They had all opportunities to make changes. To turn around now at this stage, after quitting the people of this country, weeks before Christmas, days before important financial services legislation had to be passed. In the middle of the night, they sent out a press release quitting the government, calling for an early election, disenfranchising everyone that registered to vote from October 1st, calling for an early election to happen over the Christmas period. Why? Because they felt that's the only way they would have gotten elected if there was a snap election and nobody else could contest them. That is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, if I was reading my notes, they would be up, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, the other team, made up of all freshmen. The only way I can describe that is if you're entering a team, you're going into the Premier League. You have enough money, you buy a team. You're going to go into the Premier League. And you're going to put 11 people on the field that have never played football before. How are you going to contest the championship with 11 players that have never played football? Not one single person has experience in government. Not one single person has stepped foot in that parliament. How are you going to run the government? The answer is, we have experience as business people. It should be run as a business. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought that in 2013 too, but that is not the case. You cannot run a government like a business. If you're running a business, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders. If a department of that business or a section of that business or a subsidiary of that business is losing money, you cut it. What happens to those persons that lose their jobs does not concern you. You may wonder about it, but that does not concern you because your responsibility is to cut that department. That is not the way a government runs, ladies and gentlemen. A government cannot just turn its back on its people. It cannot just say, oh, it's a small percentage. We don't need to worry about them. Every percentage, if it's one Caymanian, that one Caymanian deserves representation. That one Caymanian deserves representation. When you are running a government, yes, you have to be financially prudent. Yes, you cannot waste money. But there will always be departments and services that you cannot get a ROI on. You cannot look for a return on investment. The return on investment is helping your people. And that is what a government has to do. A government has to go and listen to its people. A government needs to know what is happening in their communities. A representative has to go and find out. How do you find out if you're being effective? You can't wait until the next election. You have to go out in your community. You have to go and hear the issues that your people are having. You have to go and see them. And then you have to go back to the boardroom and say, how can we resolve these? You can't sit in a hoity-toity office and look at spreadsheets all day and listen to statistics. That is not the way you run a government. That is not the way you take care of people. The way you take care of people is to get out there, walk with them, talk to them, and understand their problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you tonight, in closing, that there is only one team that after the April 30th election can hit the ground running, that have a plan, and we will release that in our manifesto in a week or two, that has a plan to hit the ground running and set this good ship Cayman back on its right path. And that team is the People's Progressive Movement, the PPM. And we need Pearlina in Georgetown West. We need Frederick in Georgetown South. And we got to have Roy McTaggart, back in charge of the purse in Georgetown East. And then we will be going where? Onward. Onward with the PPM, proven stable leadership. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and God bless you all.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM. We're barely surviving the hike in the pricing, but we should be thriving, 'cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quitters. Experience delivers.
Thank you, leader. You see, he explained it so easy. Don't bring back a captain that has destroyed your cricket team. Don't bring him back to destroy it again. Well, I'm going to endorse a special lady, Mrs. Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden. I remember, I'm going to say a few years ago, there was a lady that used to walk in town because in those days, Cayman was a poor country and it was hard to get a car. And this lady used to walk around with 3 cute, beautiful children. One of those children is Pearlina. These years later, look away at what has she achieved. Pearlina has come a far way. And from those days, it was pure love when you saw Meldine and the 3 children walking. It was love. It was unity. And I know that is what Pearlina will bring to the PPM. Every day, Christopher and I are walking around with Pearlina. Not only does she get, huge compliments and massive support. Once in a while, we'll be walking and a phone call. Well, there's many phone calls, but the one I'm talking about is I'll hear her talking to her mother, or she'll call her mother. The love and the unity still is there. And I know there's only one person for Georgetown West, and that's Pearlina. Pearlina. And one thing I can attest to, and I won't say more, but you can explain it if you want to. I can attest, and Christopher can attest, that when you fall, Pearlina, I know, I've witnessed it, you're going to get back up. And if you want to explain that, you explain it. No, I'm going to explain it. A couple days ago, we were walking around and we knocked on a door and nobody came to the door. And we were there waiting, and then Pearlina turned, but there was a little step, and Pearlina fell flat, and she didn't miss a beat. She got her hand cut up, and a lady in one of the houses was working on it, cleaning it up. She didn't miss a beat. She just continued campaigning with us as if nothing had happened, and that's how Pearlina, I'm going to tell you, I heard Joey talk about Barbara, hard worker. It's you. You are also a hard worker, and we're right there with you all the way. You are our next representative for Georgetown West, and I would like to welcome you on the podium.
She's just a girl and she's on fire, hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire, filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the
Hello,
ground.
Cayman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your warm welcome. And let me begin by saying how good it is to be on the PPM platform tonight. I offer myself to the good people of Georgetown West tonight as part of a proven leadership team. It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve as your elective representative for the next 4 years. You can be assured of my total attention and devotion to you and your family. No stone will be left unturned in your case. Every voice will be important to me. Every challenge will be met head on. This is my promise to you, Georgetown West, and the people of the Cayman Islands. As a child of these streets, whose father was alcoholic and abusive, family was extremely poor, I have lived many of your problems. I know the stresses of daily life that you're experiencing. I hear your cries, and I stand ready as a member of the new PPM government to make a difference in the lives of you and your family. It is clear, ladies and gentlemen, that this country needs a change, a new direction, new hope, and better results under new management. As Caymanians, we have a chance to decide on that new direction with a new government. The decision we make on April the 30th will have far-reaching consequences for each and every one of us in the Cayman Islands, our children, and even our grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, we are one decision away from a completely different life. One. We simply cannot go down the same path if we want progress in this country. We know we want better, and I'm here to tell you that there is better. We cannot afford any other party than the PPM. We cannot and must not gamble with the lives of our children, our parents, our brothers, our sisters for another 4 years. We don't have it to give. As a citizen of this country, and more so as a woman, like other sisters and mothers in the Cayman Islands, safety continues to be a huge concern with the increase in crime in our communities. A lack of focused attention has created almost a perfect storm as our kids and families are facing homelessness, mental illness, hunger, drug abuse, and unemployment, and limited access to housing. This cannot continue. Should we continue like this is the question. The answer is a resounding. The answer is a resounding. We can do better. I will do better. You can count on me to be better and to deliver tangible, measurable progress and improvement that I believe we all deserve as Caymanians. Safety is the foundation of a strong and vibrant community. To make our island safe, our government will take a strong multi-layer approach to crime. We will increase police resources and expand neighborhood policing to ensure our communities are well protected. At the same time, we will implement tougher penalties for repeat offenders to deter criminal behavior in the Cayman Islands. Yes, we understand that lasting change requires addressing the root cause of the crime. This is why we will steer our young people from gangs, improve rehabilitation programs, and create real opportunities for at-risk in the Cayman Islands. Our comprehensive plan aims to build a safer Cayman for you, me, each and every one of us that live in these beautiful Cayman Islands. Our people are feeling hopeless and left out. They believe that the Cayman Islands is no longer a place where they can build a future. Trust me, I hear it from door to door in canvassing. This, ladies and gentlemen, cannot continue. Look around the world. Securing housing is becoming a reality for young families and first-time buyers. But here in the Cayman Islands, our home, many of our own are finding themselves shut out. We cannot accept that while opportunities flourish for other people, other nationalities, in other countries, and our people are left behind. This is an unacceptable behavior. We will take decisive action to create affordable, accessible housing for every Caymanian. Trust me on that. Our future depends on it. Let us all work together to ensure that Cayman remains a home for all, where every young person has the chance to thrive, build, and dream big like myself. We can do it, we must do it, and it's incumbent upon us to do it. A secure home is the cornerstone of a stable and thriving community. We recognize the challenge many face in finding affordable and quality housing. A new PPM government is dedicated to addressing this issue head on. We will promote sustainable development and introduce initiatives to build affordable homes that cater to the needs and pockets of all Caymanians. A new PPM government will expand the efforts that started in its last term in office by seeking ways to make housing and land more affordable for young families and retired Caymanians. We will support community-focused urban planning and ensure responsible development to lay the foundation for neighborhoods where families can grow, prosper, and build a future together. You will hear many more details in the launch of our manifesto, so listen out for the date of that meeting. In closing, our government, PPM government, is committed to these transformative policies, driven by the belief that every Caymanian deserves a safe, sustainable, and prosperous future. Together, we will build the Cayman Islands that honors our heritage while embracing the promise of tomorrow. I urge you to vote for Craig Festa Frederick in the South, Roy McTaggart in the East, and myself, Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden, in the West. And keep the legacy of PPM strong in this part of Georgetown. We need every one of us to secure a PPM government. Craig and I are in particular wish to continue the good work of our predecessors. Miss Barbara Conley, please give her a round of applause. And my good friend David White. And begin fresh good works of our own. David, thank you for working tirelessly in this community and in this country. David, thank you for opening the doors for me. David, thank you for having a good heart. David, thank you for love of country. The sacrifice that I see and I've heard that you have made has left the most remarkable mark in my life, on my heart, honestly. I can genuinely say I've seen you, I hear you, and the work that you have done has not gone unnoticed. We truly appreciate every single thing that you have done for Georgetown West. And you have touched me in ways that I couldn't imagine. Thank you for being a kind, decent person. I truly appreciate that. Thank you for passing the baton on to me as a woman and have opened the doors for me. I cannot put a price on that. I cannot thank you enough. And Christopher as well. To the whole PPM team, thank you so much. April 30th, I urge each and every one of you to vote for PPM. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience. God bless you and good night.
Forward with PPM. We're barely surviving the hike in the pricing, but we should be thriving, cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quick dies. Experience delivers something.
Wow, Pearlina, thank you so much. I was crying round the back there. Wow. Now, I would like to ask another special lady to come on stage. Barbara and I and Christopher and all of PPM have been together from 2002. But the last 8 years, Barbara and I have shared the same office. We have two great ladies as our PAs in the office, Jalissa Ramon and Salida Ferrero. We couldn't do it without the two of them. But now, Barbara, as Joey, the leader, says, you never stop working. And sometimes, as he says, when you feel you're finished, you get a call, and there's Barbara. She could do her side of the road because there's many roads that she and I share. She could do her side of the road by herself and get all the praise. But she'll call you, she'll say, no, David, we got to do this. We got to do this road. We got to do this for this road. We got to do this. And as tired as you are, you still have to go. Please welcome Barbara Connolly to endorse Craig Festa Frederick.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM. We're barely surviving the hike in the pricing, but we should be fighting, 'cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for those kind words. You really, I can't say how much I enjoyed working with you over the last 8 years. You and I sharing the same office and also sharing our PAs. It's just been a pleasure. And like I said at my farewell speech in Parliament, we will always be friends. We will always hang out together, even though we're not going to be representatives anymore. And Ms. Donna, thank you very much for coming out tonight. I was wondering where you were. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, boys and girls. It is with great pride and confidence that I introduce Craig Festa Frederick as the next representative for Georgetown South. Craig is also my colleague, fellow PPM member, son of the soil, and a candidate that is running in the constituency that he has made his home for most of his life. He lives right in the constituency that he represents, or he will represent. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig is not one of those Johnny-come-lately candidates. He has been involved in politics for many years, and as a matter of fact, assisted me in both of my campaigns in 2017 and 2021 as MC for some of our meetings, David and I meetings, as well as working in many areas of the campaign process. I am confident, I am more than confident that Craig will serve you, his constituents, with honor, pride, and dignity, as I have done over these past 8 years. And as our leader has said, Craig, I will be watching you. Trust me, I know you can do it. As I canvass with Craig to introduce him to the good people of Georgetown South, I can assure you that even though I have stepped down as your representative, I will always be by his side.
assisting him in any way that I can. And I promise that to the people of Georgetown South. I promise that to all of my constituents that I love so much. So as I pass the torch, I know that Craig will not only continue the work that I have started, but will also bring fresh ideas, bold solutions, and a deep understanding of what it takes to move our constituency forward. He is someone who listens, who cares, and who will always put you, the people of Georgetown South, first. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to join me in supporting Craig, a leader who will take us to new heights and ensure that our shared values continue to thrive. Please meet your next PPM representative for the constituency of Georgetown South, Craig, Festa, Frederick. Craig.
Forward with PPM. We're barely surviving, the hike in the pricing, but we should be thriving, cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quick dice. Experience delivers, something needs to happen. We need something tried and true to create a better future. We need you with you. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. Forward with PPM.
Good evening, Cayman. And a special good evening to my fellow constituents of Georgetown South. First off, I can't thank you enough, Miss Barbara, for that amazing, heartfelt introduction. And I will try my best, my darnest, to make you proud as someone that can only try to fill those humongous shoes that you've left with Georgetown South. So let's get into this. I am Craig Festa Frederick, your PPM candidate for Georgetown South. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have all seen what instability in government looks like. While others with division and inexperience, listen, PPM stands firm, delivering steady leadership that Cayman can count on. The Cayman Islands needs proven, stable leadership in these uncertain times. And let me tell you, no other party has been as successful transitioning leadership multiple times like we have. From the Honorable D. Kurt Tibbetts to Sir Alden McLaughlin to Honorable Roy McTaggart, and now your next premier, the Honorable Joey Hugh. And it's not just the experience, it shows succession planning at its finest. And it's not just about the leadership in succession planning, but over the past 2 decades, PPM has introduced new candidates while balancing fresh perspectives with experienced governance. And that's why we remain the only proven party with the right mix of experience, stability, and innovation to move Cayman forward. At a time when others quit on leading to confusion and instability, then followed by what could only be described as experiments. Listen, the PPM offers proven, stable leadership. Now, many have asked, why did I choose PPM? Well, first of all, Mr. Kurt is the most amazing person I've ever met in politics. And 23 long years ago, from day one, I bled red. Not just Manchester United, David, but I bled PPM. I chose PPM because I want to be effective for Georgetown South. And not just the lone voice like an independent candidate with no clear alliance on a collective way forward, but part of a strong, unified team working together with a collective vision. And that's what PPM provides. They provide the support, structure, and experience needed to turn ideas into action. And that means when I go to work for Georgetown South, I won't be struggling to build alliances. I'll be ready from day one to deliver real results. Now you ask, what's the alternative? A risk Cayman can't afford. And we're going to talk about that other alternative in this election. And I take it over there. It's a new party with zero government experience. Now I got a little scenario for you. Imagine boarding the Cayman Airways flight and being told that a group of intelligent, smart, successful accountants will be flying the plane. Would you feel safe getting on that plane with your family? Would you trust them to fly that plane? And let me get ahead of the counteractors because I know plenty will say, but you ain't got no experience. I might not know how to fly that plane right now, but I got something that they don't have. I got experienced political pilots with me, like Joey Hugh, like Roy McTaggart, like Kenneth Bryan, like Dwayne John Seymour. And don't forget about the decorated retired captains as well, like Miss Barbara Connolly, like David White, like Sir Alden McLaughlin. You cannot compare the two, and I'm telling you right now, there's only one choice. And that choice is red. That choice is PPM. And folks, it's not about running a country like a boardroom. You can't run a country like a business. And let's not forget, the leader of this new party, he authored the Project Future report. Remember where he proposed privatizing, outsourcing, and restructuring government services that could mean job losses, higher costs, and loss of national control over key assets. No, I don't know about you, but I don't want anyone selling my turtle farm. I don't want anyone selling my water authority. I don't want anyone selling my postal service. They're for the people. And you know what? It's not about the bottom line, as Leader Joey said. It's about the people. It's about our Cayman people, and there is only one party in this race. There's only one horse in this race that truly understands that, and that is PPM. Now, I am here to talk a little bit about our cost of living crisis that we're going through right now in Cayman. And you may ask, well, how do we go about addressing this crisis? And I don't need to tell you that the cost of living is squeezing Caymanians like never before. Every day I hear stories as I go door to door, and for many years now, of families that are struggling, families that are barely making it from paycheck to the week before the next paycheck. And that is not right for our Caymanian people. I've been told by so many people how rent prices are absolutely ridiculous and that they just can't afford to live the way that they want to live and supply or provide for their family. And it breaks my heart. And it's time for us to do something about that. And the only party to do that is PPM. And I tell you this, in the many, many meetings at the war room with some delicious lunch, let me tell you this. I'm going to let a little secret out the bag. Sir Alden, oh my goodness, his pot is sweet. But a PPM government will implement a multi-pronged approach to ease the burden. Do the concessions on essential goods to reduce the cost at the register, more efficient assistance programs for struggling families where you don't have to wait for 3 months to get assistance. Incentives for energy efficient appliances to lower utility bills. And on housing, we recognize that an influx of immigrants has created a supply and demand crisis where landlords are now charging higher prices than what they really should because of the supply and demand crisis. I will tell you this, as your next MP for Georgetown South, I will push for policies that balance economic growth with quality of life, because prosperity means nothing if Caymanians can't afford to live here. And we need to start investing in our people. Economic growth must benefit Caymanians first. Whether you were born here or earned Caymanian status, you deserve a fair share. And I will say this, the PPM will expand training programs for young Caymanians in high-paying skilled trades like plumbing, electrical work, and construction specialists. And let me tell you, they paycheck ain't nothing to sneeze about. And also increase investment in AI technology and education to prepare the next generation for the future. Now, here's one thing that hits me real hard as an Easterner, even though I'm Georgetown as well. I went to Parker, but I'm also an Easterner. And that is the support for local farms and fishermen. Support for our own agriculture, where we can lower food costs, boost the economy, and finally get fruits that last more than 3 days in the fridge. Now, one more thing I need to touch on before I leave, and it's it has become part of my life since I got married. Hey, honey, wave. And that's health care and pensions. Not a pension part yet, but health care. And I was talking to one of my constituents the other day who told me that her company's insurance premium jumped over 700%. 700%. Simply because the insurance for her health care was used for what? Health care. That is absolutely ridiculous, Cayman. We need to get control of the health insurance issue we have right here in Cayman. And listen, PPM, we have bold policies coming for health care and health insurance reform. But I can't really reveal everything in one night. So stay tuned for a manifesto launch coming up real soon. Pension. We also need to continue pension reform so Caymanians can retire comfortably instead of having to work well into their 70s just to survive. And Cayman, there's no brighter future with anyone than the team right here, PPM. And PPM will implement what we say. When we say it, we do it. Right, Mr. Roy? Let me hear you again. When we say it, we do what? We do it. And I want all of you to spread the word, spread the gospel, that this election is the most pivotal election we have ever had. This election is not an election about who we like. It's not about personalities. It's about your future. And if you don't want to horse trade this election, if you don't want to see the horse trading, there's only one choice, and that's PPM. So tell your friends throughout this whole island, wherever there's a PPM representative, like I know she's somewhere here, I just saw her, Crystal Gomez Wilson of Prospect, you put that X by that Prospect. Across the island, we need a PPM government to move forward, because that is what we're going to do, Cayman. The PPM is moving forward. And I will say this before I close. From Cayman Brac East, all the way to Georgetown North, Miss Donna, I want to see you bring out that brush. I want to see this whole island get swept. Vote PPM. And I just want to say thank you before I close to the people of Georgetown South for welcoming me, a rookie, a freshman, into your homes and sharing your concerns and trusting me to fight for you. And I promise you, I will fight for you. To my campaign team and my PPM family, thank you for your dedication and hard work. But my biggest thanks goes out to my mentor, my counselor, my friend, my inspiration, the first female deputy leader of PPM and a living legend in Georgetown South, Miss Barbara Connolly. And I would be remiss and would have a long night, probably on the couch, if I didn't thank my beautiful wife, Nadia, and my amazing daughter, Nala, whose bedtime is gone, for being by my side 24/7. As I say, we just recently got married in January. And her commitment to me has been so much. We haven't even gone a little honeymoon. She said, go win the seat, then we can talk about the honeymoon. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But came on, listen to me on April 30th. Let's move forward together. This election is not about me. It's about the collective we of PPM. On April 30th, we're moving forward with Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden for Georgetown West. On April 30th, we're moving forward with Roy McTaggart for Georgetown East. And my Georgetown South, we moving forward with your son of the soil, Craig Frederick, and we are moving Cayman forward. DJ!
Forward, forward, forward with PPM. We're barely surviving the hike in the pricing, but we should be thriving.
Thank you, Cayman.
These are our islands. People come together. Let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quick dance. Experience the lever. Something needs to happen. We need something tried and true to create a better future. We need you with you. We're moving forward, baby. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again.
Thank you, Festa. But boy, Leader Joey, I think Leader Joey let you down. But you went and played for CNB. Seemed like you've been picking the wrong football team forever. But now we're moving into the family section. I know in my 8 years being elected from 2017, anytime I did a speech, wrote a speech or doing a debate, I used to hand it over to my brother Brian to edit it. And every speech he had to edit and take out things. He would say, no, the speaker is going to throw you out if you say that. So he had to edit mine, and I didn't get a chance to look at his tonight. So I'm going to ask him, please don't reveal those secrets about Roy. But I would like to call my brother to endorse our cousin, the Honorable Roy McTaggart.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is great to see everyone here this evening, and thank you for taking the time to meet your Georgetown PPM candidates. I would like to take this opportunity to emphasize how important it is that we vote the entire PPM team of candidates into office on April the 30th. The last time we had a stable and successful government was the last PPM government. I know you knew that because every incumbent PPM candidate running in the last election was returned as a member of parliament. The problem was we did not have enough members to form the government. We have all seen and experienced the chaos of the last 4 years because there was no one party that could take control. This time, PPM have given us 13 candidates, and if we vote straight PPM across the board, PPM will form the next government in the Cayman Islands. PPM will then be in a position to deliver everything they have proposed in their manifesto. What is in their manifesto is what has come from you, what you have been telling your PPM representatives. If you vote them in, they will have no excuses. We will be able to hold them accountable, but more importantly, we will know what they're planning to do. Now, to the reason I am here this evening. Many of you may know that the Honorable Roy McTaggart and I are cousins. My mother and Roy's father, Uncle Bill, were first cousins and grew up next door to each other. They were very close, even to the point of being more like brothers and sisters rather than just cousins. Therefore, it was natural that our family and Uncle Bill's family grew up very close. Either we were at their house or they were visiting our house. Roy's older brother, William, was closer to my age, and although Roy was younger than us, he was everywhere with us. Some of my best childhood memories are visiting Uncle Bill's and going on adventures in the plantation he had behind their house or in the back line behind our house. I say this to say that I have known Roy for most of his life. There are many things I can say, but one thing for sure is that Roy is the same person now as he was then. He has never changed, with one possible exception. Roy used to be the shy one, and when there would be one of the famous parties at Uncle Bill's with all the latest reggae music hits, I do not remember Roy out on the floor dancing. How that has changed. Now you can't stop him from doing a jig up here on the platform or anywhere. Roy was the academic, focusing fully on what he was working on and seeing it through to a successful completion. Roy was quiet, but was always willing to help whoever and wherever he could. That has not changed. Roy went on to be very successful in everything he put his mind to. In the profession he chose, he became the managing partner of one of the largest international accounting firms in Cayman. He then decided to offer his services to our country and was successful in each election he offered himself. He was the finance minister in the very successful PPM government that was outstanding in dealing with the COVID crisis, amongst other accomplishments. Therefore, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce my cousin, the Honorable Roy McTaggart, and I ask you to vote for every PPM candidate on the ballot on April the 30th. And tonight, I'm especially asking you to vote for the Honorable Roy McTaggart in the District of Georgetown East, just as I am going to do. Thank you.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM. We're barely surviving the hike in the pricing, but we should be thriving, 'cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quick ties. Experience delivers, something needs to happen. We need something tried and true to create a better future. We need you, we you.
Forward. We moving how? Moving how? Moving forward with who? And who else? That's right. Moving forward with PPM and Joey Hugh. So come April 30th, how you gonna vote? You gotta vote for what? Vote red. Remember it. Vote red. What a delight to be here with you, Georgetown. Good evening to you all. I heard a number of car horns earlier. Any of them out there still? Listen, let me hear them all. Oh, yes, yes. Keep it going a little bit longer. Good. I know there's much more here than what we're actually seeing. And I thank them for their presence here this evening and for their support. It's an incredible night, isn't it? Seeing so many familiar faces, friends, and supporters reminds me why we do this. Because at the heart of everything, the policies, the debates, the plans, is you. The hardworking Caymanian people who make this country what it is. We stand at really a critical crossroads. The decisions we make in the coming months will determine the future of our islands, not just for the next 4 years, but for the generations to come. But the true reason why we are at such a critical juncture in
and crossroads is simply because of the failures, the utter failure of the governments that we have had for these past 4 years. This election, ladies and gentlemen, is about leadership, the kind that understands how to manage an economy, safeguards what makes Cayman great, and delivers real progress without reckless financial or environmental burdens. Because if we are honest, governing is not as easy as some make it out to be. From the outset, it is easy to say, just cut here, just spend there. But when you're in the seat, when the responsibility for every business, every worker, and every Caymanian family rests on your shoulders, you quickly realize that leadership isn't about slogans or wishful thinking. It takes experience to navigate challenges, discipline to make tough calls, and a steady hand to see things through. Those who lack experience either fumble their way through governance or walk away when the weight of leadership becomes too much. And come on, let's be honest, we have seen that within this last 4 years. Cayman cannot afford trial and error leadership or leaders who quit when the going gets difficult. We need those who understand the job, are prepared for the responsibility, and have the track record to prove it. Moving Cayman forward isn't a job for showmen. It's a job for steady, experienced leaders who have proven they can navigate challenges, make tough decisions, and deliver the real results. Among the most critical tests of leadership is managing the economy. The leaders you choose must be able to get that right, otherwise we all suffer. I have spent my career in financial services and economic planning. I know what it takes to balance budgets, attract investment, and grow an economy responsibly. Why? Because I've done it before. When I served as Minister of Finance, we ensured that Cayman remained financially strong, even through the toughest of times. When COVID-19 hit, we did not panic. We protected our economy, supported businesses, and helped workers without burying our country in debt. And what most importantly, throughout that time period, we put our people first. It was their safety that was the overriding thrust of all that we did in those 2 years. Now, Cayman's economy has the potential to be strong, but families are feeling the squeeze. Businesses are facing uncertainty, and the cost of living continues to rise. Without the right leadership, stability can quickly turn to a struggle. We need leaders who understand how to keep our economy on track, control spending wisely, and ensure that growth benefits all Caymanians and not just a few. And that is what we bring, and that is what we promise. David, I'm going to steal your water. Ladies and gentlemen, stability is not guaranteed. This is no time for learning on the job. The global economy is changing. The U.S. economy is uncertain. In many regions, interest rates continue to rise. Inflation is putting pressure on families. Crime is on the increase. And in a world like this, you don't just need a plan. You need leadership that knows how to pivot when things change. And believe me, the world is changing rapidly today. And again, the PPM have proven we can pivot when things change, and we can pivot quickly. Why? because we are a united group. We are a cohesive unit. We work together, we respect each other, and we deliver on the promises and commitments we make. Cayman needs leaders who will stand firm in the face of economic pressure, not those who see instability as an excuse to sell off public assets or sacrifice hard-working Caymanians to balance the books. When tough times come, real leaders protect their people, strengthen local businesses, and find solutions that keep Caymanians at the center of our economy. We cannot afford leadership that looks for quick fixes at the expense of our future. What we need is steady, responsible leadership that prioritizes our people, our resources, and our long-term prosperity. That's why PPM has always focused on careful, responsible economic growth. We invest in Cayman's people, we strengthen key industries, we support small businesses, ensuring that our local entrepreneurs can thrive. And most importantly, we do it without reckless spending that burdens future generations. Because at the end of the day, leadership too is about trust. Do you trust the team that steered Cayman through challenges before and delivered real results? Or do you prefer leadership by trial and error? No way. I'm glad to hear you say so. So my friends, tonight, the choice is clear. But a strong economy means little if families can't afford to live. You don't need me to tell you that prices have gone up. Rent has skyrocketed. Owning a home feels out of reach for too many Caymanians. This isn't just about numbers. It's about young people trying to buy their first home. It's about a single mother working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. It's about our seniors who built this country, now struggling to keep up with the rising costs and living on a fixed pension. The cost of living, ladies and gentlemen, affects every single one of us, and we have solutions that will ease the burden that has been placed on Caymanians. One of the things you will hear us talk about is that we will expand home ownership programs, making it easier for Caymanians to buy a home. We will also support wage growth, then ensuring that hardworking Caymanians aren't left behind. And we will strengthen local businesses so Caymanians have better job opportunities and prospects. A strong economy isn't just about numbers on a report. It means more jobs, better wages, and real opportunities for all. But economic growth has got to be responsible. It must be planned, and it must benefit Caymanians. That's why we have always been about sustainable, well-managed development. Yes, you heard me right. I said we have always been. While others have made noise about the environment, we have quietly done the real work, passing the National Conservation Act in 2013, expanding the marine parks, securing public beach access, and investing in sustainable infrastructure. We don't chase headlines or hold movie nights. We focus on real solutions that balance growth with preservation. And we will continue with those types of policies. But because we don't sensationalize our efforts and our accomplishments, too often our achievements go unnoticed. The reality is protecting Cayman isn't about who talks loudest, it's about who gets things done. We have done more for the environment than any government in recent history. And that is exactly what we will continue to do. Our people need homes, and we will strike the right balance to keep them affordable for Caymanians. We need infrastructure, and we will ensure smart, balanced growth that reduces congestion and improves the quality of life of our people. The key word, and I've said it several times, is balance. We must grow while ensuring development remains responsible, sustainable, and in the best interests of Caymanians. That's what real leadership looks like, ladies and gentlemen. We must ensure responsible development benefits our people, not just the select few. We need better planning so that we don't put unnecessary strain on our infrastructure. We need to protect our natural resources in a way that is practical, sustainable, and beneficial to the average Caymanian, ensuring that conservation efforts support the environment as well as our people's daily lives. Promises protect neither our environment nor our people. Thoughtful policies and responsible action from proven, stable leadership do. And let me be clear tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are not resting on our past accomplishments. Here's what we will do next, and you will hear about it in our forthcoming meetings. We are going to implement the National Development Plan, ensuring smart, sustainable growth. It is going to be one of the cornerstones of our plan for Cayman. For without it, all the complaints we make about too much overdevelopment, development in the wrong place, ladies and gentlemen, the National Development Plan is the one place where we can take care of the ills we feel exist in our development today. But for now what, nearly 30 years, we have gone without an updated National Development Plan. We're going to take care of that. We're going to take care of it. You will also hear more about improved public transport and easing traffic and making commuting more affordable. Yes, we're going to head and face the issues we have with regard to transportation head on, and we're going to tackle it. And we will also address waste management head on, so we stop relying on the landfill. And that's been the biggest failure, one of the biggest failures of this government. They could not get the waste to energy plant across the line. And we are faced with what is a national catastrophe if something isn't done quickly about the landfill and replacing it with something that is more sustainable and less dangerous to the environment and to our own health. And we will continue to protect and enhance Cayman's precious coastline and its marine environment. You know, ladies and gentlemen, elections come and go. But the decisions we make now are going to shape Cayman for generations. Because when leadership fails, it's not the politicians who pay the price, it's the people. So we have a choice to make. Do we hand our future to those who put profits before people, selling off Cayman piece by piece? Or do we entrust it to those who claim to protect the environment, even if it means pushing Caymanians out of their own country? No way. The truth is, our economy and our environment are not opposing forces. They must work together. We need leadership that understands that growth must be responsible, but it must also serve the people who live here. And that's the reason we are here. I'm not looking power. We aren't looking for power. Not looking position, but for progress. That's what we need. For a Cayman that protects what makes us special without pricing Caymanians out of their own home. I tell you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I think you know it, we have the experience. We have the plan, we have the team, and we have the leadership to make it happen. So, let's hear those horns again. Let's hear you. What do we need? We tell you we have all the ingredients. But what we need from you? April 30th, you go and you vote PPM. Make the right choice. April 30th, I want you to vote for Pearlina McGaw-Lumsden in Georgetown West. She is the right person to succeed David White. I want you to go and vote on April 30th for Craig Festa Frederick in Georgetown South. He's the right person to succeed Barbara Connolly. And finally, your humble servant, Roy McTaggart in Georgetown East. I am asking you to return me to Parliament on April 30th. We need, and we've heard it said several times tonight, we need every PPM member elected to Parliament to keep Cayman safe, strong, and moving forward. April 30th, please, let's choose proven, stable leadership. Let's move Cayman forward. I thank you tonight. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless these beautiful Cayman Islands. So, who are you going to vote for? And we're going to do what? Move forward with PPM and Joey Hugh. Good night, everybody. Enjoyed it and enjoyed being with you.
When we should be fighting, 'cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quick ties. Experience delivers, something needs to happen. We need something tried and true to create a better future. We need Joey Hugh. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. Forward with PPM.
We're coming to the end of this evening, but I just want to emphasize what Roy says. Everybody who can vote and they have a PPM candidate in their constituency, vote for the PPM candidate. We need the PPM government back in now for proven, stable leadership. Roy, I can borrow that. I just want to make sure that I just want to wish everybody safe travels home. But before we go home, we would like to invite everybody to join us around the back for some light refreshments. God bless the Cayman Islands. And we are going to perform CPR on Cayman.
Forward, forward, forward with PPM. We're barely surviving the hike in the pricing, but we should be fighting, 'cause these are our islands. People come together, let's change for the better. PPM ain't no quick ties. Experience delivers, something needs to happen. We need something tried and true to create a better future. We need Joey Hugh. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. See the light again. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're moving forward. We're tired